What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy Julien Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, here to take the fear out of fitness. We're about to take off, and class is in session. So, hopefully you guys can actually hear me today. I've been doing a few things to figure out what was going on with this, and there happens to be a short in my mic. So bear with me. Better things are coming. I'm going to upgrade soon on the microphone. But in the time being, it's doing its job. So I'm not going to try and complain. If you happen to begin watching this stream from the very beginning, you heard the song Caring for a Friend, but the picture of the beautiful woman standing next to yours truly was my grandmother, who 94 years ago was born today, but she is no longer with me and the rest of my family. And I do a lot of what I do, ironically, because of her. One of my memories of her is that she was always giving of herself. She was giving herself to friends and family. She was giving of herself to her children. She was giving of herself to her grandchildren. And in my everyday life, I teach for one of those reasons of giving of myself, because it's what she would have done if she had the level of education that I am currently, and I will continue to grow and develop. She was everything to me, at least. I wouldn't be where I am if not for her, in all honesty. Several women, like many other strong, powerful men out there, I wouldn't be where I am without a lot of women. But since today is her day, since today is the day God put her on this earth 94 years ago, I'm only going to talk about her briefly. When, as a child, even as my earliest memories is maybe 1, 2 years old, maybe, I was horribly constipated. I was constipated all the time. And I know this sounds a little bit much, but bear with me. But I was constipated, and my grandmother was the only one that I felt safe with to get me through that time. So much so nobody, not even my mother, could help me. As a matter of fact, my mother wasn't doing it right. I would ask her to go get my grandma. I didn't care. I'd stay on the toilet. I'd wait, painfully, obviously, but I'd wait, and my grandmother would be the one to help me through it. I lost her back in 2008. We're coming up on that time where we lost her fairly soon. I miss her. I wish she was around to see how I ended up, physically at least. I know she could see me, but I wish physically she would have seen where I ended up, so that way I could at least smile about things with her. But shout out to my family. Shout out to everybody that knew her. Shout out to everybody that was loved by her. I appreciate you all, because that is a connection that can never be broken. But I'm going to move on because I'm getting a little sad right now. And as a matter of fact, ironically, before I move on, being in the position that I'm in right now as a personal trainer, as somebody, someone who is of a health expert, it is one of my greatest regrets that I could not do anything to help my grandmother be here for the next 18 years to see this day today, because I wasn't in the position to do so at the time of her passing. And all the things that came with her passing, it was beyond my control. It was beyond my reach. It was beyond my scope. I knew, based on what was told to me, I knew certain things weren't good, but with all the knowledge and training that I received, it sobered me quicker to the fact that I was not going to live in a fantasy land of which that I could do much to save her. But I do all I can with what I can, as best as I can, with the skills and knowledge that I have in my possession, to help other people not fall victim to the same fate as my grandmother at the time that she faced it. I mean, obviously there's other things that are beyond my control too. I cannot save you from cancer and things like that per se. I mean, we could do all we can to avoid it actively, but if you've contracted it, there's not much that I can do personally to save you, because I am not a doctor. I can only do the parts that I can do to save one from the extracurriculars of it. If you were to try to fight your way through it, I would imagine that you would still need some form of training to at least strengthen you through those tough times. But anyway, I digress. You see the title and the thumbnail, y'all. Hate to be a Debbie Downer for a quick second, but I love my grandmother dearly. But you see the title and the thumbnail. It is Teddy Bridgewater wins. Now, I don't remember if I actually covered this. It's been a while. But Teddy Bridgewater is at this point, a backup quarterback in the NFL. He last played about a couple of years ago. And he was fired as a head coach of the team he once played for in Florida as a high school player. He came back to the school and at first he was basically like, how should I put it? He was their sponsor at first when he was actively playing, especially when he was, a starter in the league. But even within that, he was like their sponsor. But then things managed to get to a point where he ended up being the coach, right? Everything was on the up and up. He wasn't like doing anything untowards with the children on a financial level. And when I say untowards, I'm definitely not saying that this man was involved in anything heinous. But when it comes to finances in sports, things could get a little bit tricky, if you will, right? So if he were to spend his money on a particular player, or spend his money in a way where it is like, buying their favor into playing and stuff like that, then he would be violating a lot of different rules that will basically get you fired, right? But Teddy Bridgewater was spending his hard-earned money to support the players that needed rides home. It's because obviously, if you also don't know this, if you are a teacher or a coach, you are not supposed to drive your players home at all. And the reason why is because it saves you the undue stress of having to be accused of doing something untoward to one of your players. Yes, I understand that these are all football players. They are male and he is a male, and some of them are quite larger than he is in some instances, even as a NFL quarterback. But that does not mean that he does not have the positional power to impose his will on his players if that's what he so chose to do, if he was some heinous individual. But thank God Teddy Bridgewater is not that type of person. He was spending his hard-earned money supporting his players in ways where if the players' parents couldn't be there at the game to pick them up or to be there to support them, they needed rides home. He would pay for the Uber. He would call them an Uber, pay for the Uber, have them get home. He was paying for their food in certain instances, like buying Gatorade and all that snacks and things of that nature out of his own pocket to make sure that the players were ready to go during the game. If they needed equipment, specific types of equipment, he would make sure they had it. It's things like that that any honorable person who is in that position and could afford to do so, mind you. I'm not suggesting that every coach has the financial capability of doing this, but if they have the financial capability of doing it, would and should do this all the time. But the school found out about it. The school didn't find out about it. He already reported it, but because it exceeded a certain amount of money, it made them feel uncomfortable and they let him go. Well, Teddy Bridgewater finally got a clause put in that if I'm spending my hard-earned money, as long as I'm not spending it in a nefarious way to support my players, I can spend a certain amount of money and it will not cost me my job. And especially with NIL deals and all that stuff, I don't think it should even cost him his job, even if NIL wasn't involved. But now with NIL, which stands for name, image, and likeness, it shouldn't even get to that point because he was doing something to support his player or players to make sure that they are able to get on the field legitimately. He's not supplying them with drugs. He's not supplying them with things that will give them an unfair advantage. He's literally providing them the things that the players need in order to perform at the level that they need to play at. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we're just going to have at it. So there's all of this. Give me a second. I'm trying to cover some things here. Let's see. I'm trying to. Why are we doing this? Yeah. Wait 1 second. Okay, and then my screen. Let's go back to the screen. Properties and then save restart capture. Good job. But okay.
If you have one of these, your home's ready for an upgrade. Get the smart central heat pump that warms in winter,
Lord, I hate
cools
commercials.
In the high school football world, while we own it, Florida Senate has passed the Teddy Bridgewater Act, which will allow high school coaches to spend up to $15,000 of their own money for player meals, transportation, and recovery services.
Hell yeah.
Bridgewater was suspended for an entire season, spending his own money on his team, paying for Ubers, meals, recovery for his players. He's trying to get the most out of his football team.
Are they going to let him come back and coach?
I'm not sure about that situation, but
that's lit though, bro.
This is a big
that's important
president in the football world because it's like, I know,
Coaches been doing that.
No, that's what I said. Coaches have been doing it, but it was certain implications and rules against it because, the clearinghouse and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's of course changed. It's changed a little. It's changed some with the NIL era and stuff like that. But like you said, it's been coaches doing this, and it sucks to see. It sucks to see like players and or coaches get jammed up. I mean, you shouldn't have to get.
And that's for all sports. Like you got hoopers. I mean, like
at every level.
And you know what? By the way, I did not watch this video. In preparation for this, I did not watch this video, but it clearly demonstrates that I have some knowledge on this subject matter because obviously being in athletics, you need to know some of these things. I have friends that are coaches for various teams all over the country, actually. I have friends that are in Texas. I have friends that are up north in Denver. I have friends out east in New York. I have friends out in California that do coaching. And when we discuss, the nature of the beast, it's not fair that I'm spending my own money in a very positive way. I'm buying meals, recovery meals, especially after a long, hard game. You got a recovery meal. You get to go home. Some kids have all of this talent and skill, but don't have all of the nutritional capabilities to perform at the level that they would perform at if they had everything that some of these other kids would have. And it's not fair that they can't perform to the level because they're poor, or they can't perform to the level because their family can't afford all of that, what comes with playing sports. It's expensive sometimes, especially football. I mean, for God's sakes, the cleats alone, decent cleats are like $90. Then you got shoulder pads, you got helmets is a little different. But you got shoulder pads, you got knee braces, you got to wear the whatever the impact pants that go underneath your uniform, mouth guards, visors if necessary. All of this equipment isn't cheap. God forbid they outgrow it. This is important. So when you go through these things, and like I said, coaches have been doing this. It's just that whatever the situation was, I don't know if there's these minor little details, but I think in his case, he spent a level of money that made the school uncomfortable about what he was spending. But everything was documented. It's not like he spent it and was like, oh yeah, I think I gave that kid a ride. I spent money on him for a ride. He was all listed, and it's not like, yeah, I heard you spent $15,000 on the players, and it's like, yeah, I spent $15,000. I'm not even asking to get reimbursed for it. I just spent it. Can I do that? No? Okay, fine. Now he's getting in trouble for it. So it is huge that he has the opportunity to now be able to do what he was doing before without getting jammed up. But I'm gonna let the Raw Room cook. Shout out to the Raw Room, by the way.
At every level,
yeah.
You shouldn't see coaches be getting in trouble or
for helping the kids out,
or players not getting an opportunity because like it benefited them most if they got some support from somebody. Everybody's family don't have the infrastructure to provide.
I need a ride, bro. I ain't got no car.
Shit. My mama, the only parent at the house, and she's at work.
Yeah.
When I get off of school.
That's a fact, bro.
I don't got a car.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't even have to worry about this.
Bro, when I was in Memphis, I was like an assistant coach on the basketball team right before I left, bro. Yeah. I'm taking some of them kids home after school.
You have
after
to
practice.
If
not, they can't play. They said, I gotta take you know what I'm saying?
If you're
you gotta do it.
A good coach.
Sometimes you gotta do it. I know. I understand.
Even further, if you're just a good person, you're gonna help these kids out.
You're gonna help these kids.
It just don't make sense that it was rules against
this. This is funny because
there's an astonishing number of kids that didn't play because they didn't have
saying what they already said.
Didn't have the way to get
to or from.
But they're about what they say.
Yeah. Didn't have the means, bro.
Yeah.
How many athletes? Like I said, just think about how many athletes that missed out just because there was no way to get to or from practice.
Oh,
that's all they needed.
Yeah.
Just a ride.
In my situation, if I didn't live across the street from the school,
you wouldn't have been going.
I wouldn't have been going. Because how the hell I'm going to get home?
Right.
Like, it's so many of them days where I'm the last one up there, not because, like, I don't want to go home. I'm chilling with the rest of the guys or whatever. I was either out there working, doing extra stuff, whatever. But, like, I'm chilling because, shit, I know it's right across the street. Yeah, I'm walking home after this.
Yeah.
I can leave whenever I want to, so that was a luxury for me. But I know everybody don't got that.
Everybody not fortunate.
Shit, everybody don't live in a neighborhood where it's an area for it's safe for them to.
Look at Rodman right here. Who's this? Rodman,
Wasn't trying
Ron
to do all
Harper
that.
ball head, Michael Jordan ball head, cool coach. Nah, I don't want to crack jokes, but I just.
I would definitely recommend TurboTax. My tax expert, she was a.
Let's shut that down for the moment. We ain't trying to do commercials for TurboTax, right? Right there.
If you're just a good person, you're gonna help. You're gonna help
because there was no way to get to.
I want to go home. I'm chilling with the rest of the guys or whatever. I was either out there working, doing extra stuff, whatever. But like by themselves or whatever the situation may be, like
especially down there.
Yeah. So it's like
I was gonna say, hey, listen, Florida don't do a lot that I agree with, but they got this right.
No, this
yes.
I like this. I like this.
And I love that they named it after him too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Because there was no reason for him to get suspended to the point where he couldn't, be a part of his football team anymore. That was
shout out to Florida, man.
But shout out to Florida getting this right.
Shout out to Teddy too.
Hell yeah, Teddy. Setting the president, you know what I'm saying?
Man, what?
Getting shit right, putting things in motion. Hell yeah. Shout out to TB, man.
They're gonna have to figure out how to, take that to the next level. I know that was local. I know that was like a local thing, but God, like if you can take that kind of case to like the Supreme Court, I mean, and again, like I said, I just feel like to your point, Ken, you made a great point, bro. It's like, golly, like just the opportunity that a lot of kids are missing out on. I feel like now it's not as prevalent as it was probably back in the day. Because, a lot of these kids, but it still happens.
In certain places it might be.
Yeah.
Not everywhere got the
facts.
Collective infrastructure.
Yeah.
Type shit. So, yeah.
Anyway.
No, King before, earlier you had asked if he's going to coach again. While he's eligible to, at this point, it's unclear whether he will return to Miami Northwestern.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. It probably ain't said nothing yet on it.
Yeah.
But all right.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play that now.
What is up, Willis, and welcome
later, and we're gonna move on, right? So what's going on is that we so yes, Teddy Bridgewater won his case, at least in Florida and where he lives and where he played and where he originated from. It is good to see that because, like I said, it's unfair that these kids miss out. I know kids that I know were talented athletically, far beyond understanding, that didn't get the opportunity to play because things was different. If you didn't play for a certain school, they weren't looking at you anyway. But on top of that, and I'm talking about in New York, if you didn't play for those schools, then that was it. But then on top of that, you play for those schools and you live elsewhere, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to travel. You can take the train, but you have your football gear. People would turn around and be shiesty and try to rob you, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. So it'll be safer for you to get a ride home. All right. So, but that goes without saying. I appreciate everything that's been going on with this because I wanted to know what they were going to do about it because I thought that was really unfair. I'm really glad that they came to a resolution for this, but this show is going to be relatively short tonight because, I remember. There's a couple of things. there's a couple of videos you guys sent me that I wanted to actually go in and take a look at, which is cool. Let's go. Come back to another. No, I don't want to do that. I want to go out. Let's go to the home. Let's go to playlists. Excuse me. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you again. And this is it right here. Somebody sent this to me. Oh my God. Still fastest, boy. All right, so first things first, right? That is a whooping, boy. First of all, shout out to Coach Marquez. I promise you I'm coming back as soon as I'm fully healed. I am not ducking the smoke. Promise you. Coach Marquez, shout out to Coach Marquez. Coach Marquez is actually my boxing coach. Coach Marquez and Coach Ish, who is my former student, who is now my coach also, my boxing coach. And I promise you I'm not ducking the smoke because my body is just being, and my elbows are trashed, and I don't know why, but I'm working on it. I'm actually, doing some, resistance shadow boxing and some stuff like that to at least keep me flush, because here's the deal. I understand you're like, well, if you could shadow box, you could box. Not true. Impact is affecting my elbow, where whenever I throw a punch and I land, it, whether it's on a heavy bag or on a person or on a medicine ball, it reverberates and it doesn't feel very good. So I need this to heal completely before I step back into any ring of any kind. But this dude is laying the smoke, turning into his punches. They're coming fast and furious, 5 pieces. And I'm not going to act like none of my, boxing mates can't do this to me right now, because a lot of them can. If they really wanted to, they really could. I mean, I'm not trying to hit them with any type of heat either. So there's no malicious intent behind what I'm doing. But this dude is throwing. I don't know if he threw one up the middle, caught him with an uppercut, and made his head snap back. It's just brutal, miss. Still fastest. There it goes right there. Lord Jesus. That head snapped back and what came with a left. I gotta count those again. That combo was stupid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He threw a 9-punch combo, landed more than half of them. So here's the problem right here. I can even see. So now here's what's funny, right? When you're in it, you don't see what you're doing. You don't see how you're messing up. But his stance is way too wide. And this is coming from, I'm listening to my coaches tell me the same thing. Stance is way too wide. Shorten your stance. Get your stance in, right? Shoulders already back. He already sees it coming. Look at him. He's already leaning over. He already knows what's coming. He knows it's already there. It's obvious. And he gets tripped up. He got caught. Okay, he got caught with one. But he's leaving his feet.
Still fast.
That stance is way too wide. One. Watch his feet. He's not leaving his feet. His stance is a little too wide too. But see how he gets his feet back? Ooh, he turned into that hook. Ooh, my God. Turned into that hook. Look at his hips. You can see his hips. Oh my God, he's turning into those punches.
Still fast.
Caught him with a check. Technically, that's not a check, but he caught him with a. Ooh, that hook is mean. So, one of the things that I've learned being in the ring legitimately is there's an ebb and flow if you really want it, right? You're going to throw some punches. If you're not in boxing shape, you're going to throw some punches and eventually you're going to have to yield. You're going to have to relent because, like I said, unless you're in incredible boxing shape, you're going to have to yield. You're going to have to relent because you're going to get tired of throwing all those punches, whether they land or they miss. And when you recoil back, now it's their turn. That's why it's a dance almost. Now it's their turn. What you going to do? What you coming with? Can I get out the way? Can I get my wind back? Can I get my legs underneath me and then go off? Because I'm telling you now, when that happens, it is going to be a problem. All right? But let me go ahead and mute the screen real quick. Switch over. So here's another one someone sent me.
Oh, there it is. Say something to him. Say something to him. Say something. Fight back. How many enough he got left? Oh, what, he got two left? He got two left or one left?
Cooking yams.
He cooking it. I want to know where that went. Oh my God.
Oh, there it is. Say something to him. Say something to him. Say something. Fight back. How many enough he got left?
Oh my God. That is.
Oh, what, he got two left? He got two left or one left?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he's tearing the paint off the ball. That's stupid. That is stupid. I mean, that is stupid. All right. Another one someone sent me.
Of course, led the tour 93 hits a season ago and lifts this one into shallow center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. JBJ!
Are you serious? My man got a Naruto bandana on and caught it behind it.
You're gonna see him catching it behind the back and hitting the run all the way back to the dugout. Of course, led the tour 93 hits a season ago and lifts this one into shallow center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. JBJ! Behind the back, a trick play for Jackie Bradley Jr.
That is stupid.
That's what he's calling the Naruto this season. You're going to see him catching it behind the back and and hitting the run all the way back to...
That is dumb. That is dumb. Yo, that is dumb. That dude needs to be tested. Seriously. That dude needs to be tested. This is one. Oh, I got this one. Cool. This is crazy. I think this is one I've seen too. I think I've seen this one. That's, yeah. So, again, I have a set of nunchucks. I'm pretty okay. I'm not as dope as my man Greg. I'm not as good at, definitely not nowhere near this dude. This dude is on some other stuff right now. Shout out to Bruce Lee. Shout out to this dude as well. That is just insane. That is insane. Okay. Oh, shucks. Oh, my God. First of all, no. We not doing that. Yo, first of all, let's. Buddy just got his whole chest caved in. Look at that. Look at that. First of all, 420 pounds is a lot for anyone. And you trying to get up 420 at 14? I understand you're a big kid. I'm pretty sure you're pretty strong. But 420? The minute that thing went off the rack, your hands went off from underneath it, and that was it for you, buddy. Your chest is, I think that's at least a good solid 5 or 6 inches below his bottom line. I mean, his chest line. Holy crap. Nah, dude. Let me tell y'all something. Because I'm getting ready to go. But let me tell y'all something. If you find yourself in a gym, anywhere, I don't care if you got a spot. If you can't get it off the rack by yourself, you shouldn't be lifting it. Real talk. If you can't unrack it yourself, at least initially, right? Because, yeah, you don't want to expend the energy of unracking it and then bringing it down and then bringing it back up. I understand that. But if you legitimately cannot unrack that weight, you shouldn't be lifting it. I don't care what anybody tells you. Do not fool yourself into thinking that you could bench press something just because you got a spotter. Now, I've tried exceeding my limits with a spotter. And when you exceed your limits, it's in increments. So let's say I bench press 285, which at one point I did. But bench press 285, and I wanted to see if I could get 290, 295, right? That's when you ask for the lift off. You do ask for the lift off because you're trying to save what little strength you have for the lift, right? But that is when you're exceeding a micrometer of an amount. You don't go from 315 to 420 and think you got it. Because my man's chest is gone. I'm surprised he isn't in cardiac arrest. I'm surprised he didn't. That's crazy. He performed CPR. That was a CPR chest compression that he got. He got a full-on CPR chest compression. That's crazy. But anyway, guys, I appreciate your time. The show is over. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you happen to make it this far, I appreciate your time. Go ahead and click that like button for me and click the subscribe button. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on TikTok. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.